everyone, welcome to Decode with Harsha. Today's topic is going to be about decision making, which is nothing but the conditional statements in Python. So here we are going to use if, elif, and else. So many of us will get confused in this conditional statements. We don't know which statement is going to get executed first and where the condition is being checked. So we are going to see a problem or let's say challenge. Okay, based on that, we are going to code and it is going to be a hands-on code and we are going to also see the logic behind it. Okay, so you can use any language that you want, but the language that I am going to use here is Python. So this is the challenge given to us. So we need to identify how many days are there in a month. So the condition given to us is the year has to range between 1900 to 9999 and the month has to range from 1 to 12. So input that we are going to give is just the year and the month and the output has to print the number of days in that month. For example, let's see a sample. So this is how. Input given is the year and the month, right? So the year here is 2000 and the month is 2. So 2 is February, which has 29 days. Why? Because 2000 is a leap year. So later on, I will explain how to identify whether a month is a leap year or not a leap year. And another sample is, we are giving an input as 1999. That is the year and 8 is the month, which has 31 days. So here 29 days and 31 days are the output. Okay, so this is how the output and the input will look like. So these are the month rules, right? This is a very simple one, but I'll go with it. I'll just brush it up. Okay, so there are 7 months which has 31 days and 4 months which has 30 days and there is only 1 month which is very special, which is Feb. So based on that month we decide whether a particular year is a leap year or not a leap year. So here we are going to use all the conditional statements if, elif and else. Okay, so this is how the flow chart looks. First we start, it checks for the first condition, if condition 1, and if the condition is true, it will execute code block 1. If this particular condition is false, immediately it eliminates the if condition and comes up to elif condition 2. Checks for the condition whether it is true or false. If it is true, it will execute code block 2. Else it will delete or ignore the elif condition 2 and comes to else part. The else part will get executed as a default if condition and elif condition are false. Okay, so this is how this particular if, elif, else will work. So this is the program that we are going to work out. So if I show you like this, nobody is going to understand. So I will be showing you as a hands-on code and how the particular program is working behind is also will be shown. Okay. So the takeaways that you're going to have is first thing is we are checking out with the if condition and then the alternative used for it is elif condition and default path is else part. Okay, so this is how it is going on. So decision making means letting the data choose the path. Okay, so based on the condition, the program works. So now we are going to see how the logic works for the program and we are going to do a hands-on coding. Okay, and we are also going to see how the program is working behind. Okay. Here we are going to see how to identify whether a year is a leap year or not a leap year. Okay, so to identify whether it is a leap year or not, we need to divide the particular year by 4. Okay, so when I divide 2000 by 4, how much will I get? So 5 times 20, so 0, 0. So here 0, again 0, 0, and 0. So the remainder here is 0. correct? So when 2000 is divided by 4, we have no remainder, but we will have a quotient, okay? And similarly, when I divide 1999 by 4, so 4 times 16, so we get 3 here, 9, then 9 times 36, again we get 39, again 9 times 36, we get 3 as the remainder. So here the remainder is not equal to 0. So hence we say 1999 is not a leap year. Okay. So when the year is divided by 4, the remainder has to be 0. Okay. So if it is not equal to 0, then we say it is not a leap year. Sometimes they say the century years. For example, the year which ends with 00. For example, let me take 1600. So the year which ends with 00. So when I divide that number by 400, the century years will be divisible by 400. So when that year is divisible by 400, that is 1600 again. So here the remainder is 0. So this is also a leap year. Okay. So the easy trick that you need to remember here is when when the year is not divisible by 4, then it is not a leap year. Okay. And also the remainder, if you get a remainder, then it is not equal to the leap year. Okay. And when the number is divisible by 4, but not a century year. Okay. Divisible by 4, but not a century year, then it is a leap year. Okay. So that is when we divide a number by 100, it should not be equal to 0. Okay. So that is one condition. So in that case, if it is not equal to 0, then it is a leap year. Okay. And so all century years ends with 00. So all that century years, if it is divisible by 400, then it is a leap year. So three things you need to remember. So whether the leap year is divisible by 4, okay, and the century years divisible by 400, and both the years must not be divisible by 100. So in that case, we say whether it is a leap year or not a leap year. Okay, so always remember when you divide the year by 4, the remainder is 0, then it is a leap year. If the remainder is not equal to 0, then it is not a leap year. Okay, so this is the rule that you need to understand to identify the year, whether it is a leap year or not a leap year. Here we're going to do the hands-on programming. So first we need to get a year and month as input. So in Python, we get the input like this. So here is my variable name and equal to int of input of. So this is how we get the input in Python. So it's int because it has to be a positive integer. Similarly, I need to get month as my input. So int of input of. Okay, so I got my two inputs here. Okay, now immediately we need to check for the conditions. Okay, so if it is month February, we need to check whether it is a leap year or not, and accordingly we need to print 28 days or 29 days, or else we need to print whether the month has 31 days or 30 days. So this is how the program is going to work. So the first condition that I'm going to use is if month is equal to 2. Okay, so many of us make a mistake here. They give only one equal to symbol and they just forget it, so which is very that is one of the common mistakes where everyone make it. Okay, so that has to be avoided because the computer will understand it's equal to this particular number only when we give two equal to symbol. Okay, so if month is equal to 2, another condition has to be given, correct? So this is the main condition which is going to check whether a particular year is a leap year or not. Okay, so as I told you, if the year is divided by 400 and if the remainder is equal to 0, then it is a leap year, correct? So here I use modulus symbol because when I divide the year by 400 and the remainder is if it is equal to 0 only, it is a leap year. If I just divide the number by 400, I'm not going to get my anything as 0, right? The remainder has to be equal to 0, okay? And I use the OR function. Another thing that we checked there in my logic was year when I divided by 4, it has to be equal to 0, right? And another condition where we saw the century years. where when we divide a particular number, it is not equal to 0. Okay, so this is how the condition works. Fine. So if this particular condition is true, immediately it has to print 29 days. Okay, else. Now, many of us do this mistake. It's a very common mistake where everyone do it. So else part will be given here. This is a very wrong thing, because this else part, when I give it to the margin, it will come for this particular if statement, correct? Else will be for this if statement. So immediately when the if month is equal to 2, it will come to this else part. Okay, so it will not check this particular condition, which is the common mistake done by many people. So else we need to print 28 days. Okay. Yeah, now we are done with the second month Feb of checking the leap year or not a leap year. Now we use this Elif statement. Okay, this is for the rest of the months. So month in 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. These are the months which has 31 days. Else we need to print is the default statements, which is 30 days. Okay, so this is how the program will be done. Fine, so let me run it and tell you how this particular program behind it is working. So my input is 1999, 8th month, 31 days, correct? So the behind the program will be working like this. So the input that I gave was 1999, and the month which I gave was 8, correct? So immediately this if condition is being checked, it is false, because if the month is equal to 2, only this conditions all will be checked. Okay, now since the month is 8, immediately it goes into this elif part and checks for the number. So here we have 8, so immediately it prints 31 days. So this full if part is getting ignored. Fine. So now if I give, so let me run the program again. How if I give 2000 and 2, 29 days. So it's a leap year. Okay, so here how it is being checked. So 2000 and the month given is 2. So if immediately it checks for this condition, so it is month equal to 2. Yeah, month is equal to 2. So this condition is being checked now. Okay, so here the program will be working like this. So the year is 2000. So when I divide that with 400, my remainder will be 0. So immediately for this, again 2000 divided by 4, and again 2000 divided by 100. So this is how the program will be working behind. And now since everything is true here, it will print 29 days. Okay, so this is how this particular program is getting worked. And if you have any further doubts, please put on the comment section. Thank you.